What's up, beautiful people? Coming through with another video. This time on our favorite scamming bishop, bling bling bishop, Lamor Whitehead. Let's go ahead and get into this content today. So, first and foremost, welcome to the podcast. I appreciate you. This is just a quick update regarding Lamor Whitehead. We're gonna keep track, right? Let's talk a little bit about the fact that I've done a video on this channel regarding his interview with Angela Yee. Did a synopsis, a summary of it, in my view, in my opinion, of that particular interview. Well, obviously, he must have thought that interview was successful because now he's asking or he's stating on his Instagram that he is open to taking all credible interviews, right? So clearly in his mind, somewhere, despite the backlash and the comments in the comment section, he believes that this interview was successful. It's kind of like, when I think of Bishop Lamor Whitehead, he makes me think about the emperor with no clothes. Y'all remember that? The Emperor with No Clothes was a story about a king or an emperor who was so caught up in what people said and caught up in his own mind that at the end he was taken advantage of. He didn't have any clothes on and he basically looked like a fool. Bishop Whitehead reminds me of the Emperor with no clothes. This is truly shocking, right? He did this interview with Angela Yee called Up With Yee, where he discussed his case and he danced around the questions, right? Really didn't give any truth to anything that was being said. They tore him up in the comment section, right? No one believed him. Everybody left that feeling he was a scammer, he wasn't being honest, etc., etc. Well, he was on his Instagram page the other day saying that he is taking all credible interviews. So I pulled some energy around it to see if this was going to be helpful to him or harmful to him. And we can all surmise that this doesn't make good sense, especially when you're in the middle of a federal case, right? So basically he went on this show, talked about how he was set up and how the mayor was also set up, the mayor of New York, Mayor Eric Adams. After his interview, he must have seen the reading that I had done on him. And so he posted in his story and on his Instagram, witchcraft is a temporary word. God's favor and my testimony will last forever. Witches and warlocks, your time is up. Bishop Lamor M. Whitehead, right? So I guess we're supposed to be shaking in our boots, child, over here. So anyway, that's what he wrote. So of course people were in his comment section when he wrote that particular one. And people are saying, and falsifying paperwork is a crime. So these people weren't showing him any mercy when he posted this, right? Another person said, you better stop playing with God and his word. The Bible speaks of false prophets and people misleading the church. You still have time to repent and ask God for forgiveness other than forgiveness, right? Another one person said, I'm leery of people who constantly play victim. Somebody else said, praying for you, Bishop. It's all turning around in your favor. Another person said, you'll be okay, Bishop. This too shall pass. So again, like I said in my reading, he has those supporters that still feel like they are going to ride and die with him. And there are other people that just don't trust what he's saying. So after that, he did that post. He took to his Instagram to basically share this bizarre I guess DM that some person sent him. Allegedly in August, this is March. In August, he received some type of threat from this, I guess fake page where there's this African looking man on it. The accent is allegedly supposed to be, of course, African, but it sounds like a voiceover, or like a voice changer. And so he played this, and in my opinion, it was for sympathy, right? He had this interview with Angela Yee. Everybody's talking about him. Fox Soul did 5 segments on him. This other lady I saw on YouTube did this whole docu-series on him. People are just slashing him down. So for me, he found something from August to garner sympathy and support, right? So basically, this person allegedly got in his comments, or well, it's here, but they got in his in DMs and threatened him and threatened his children, which of course I do not agree with. I don't condone bullying. I definitely don't condone attacking children. You know, on the channel personally, I don't like even talking about children. But this person was just calling him a devil, and he was a scammer, and he needs to be punished. And they were saying some pretty mean things. So he posted that on his Instagram. And he says here, this is what happens when you believe the lies. However, my message to you is, I promise when you come, I will not turn the other cheek. Come try me. Hashtag Bishop Whitehead. So again, this is from August. If he was that concerned or that in fear, or there was you know, if he was so, he's mentioned numerous times on his Instagram that he's been threatened, that people have said things about him and his kids. He's never ever really brought it out. So to me, this is a way to try to soften the blow around him regarding his interview, his case, right? Because at this time, they're publishing the newspapers, he's a fraud. In the Shade Room, he's a fraud. In the Hollywood Unlocked, he's a fraud. In the Neighborhood Talk, he's a fraud. And so all of these publications are coming out pretty much talking about the falsifying of documents, allegedly falsifying documents to obtain his home in Paramus. So to me, this was actually a recording that he pulled from August in order to garner sympathy. Now, do I agree with the fact that someone did this? I think it's very it's disgusting, and I definitely wouldn't want anyone sending me anything like that, and especially discussing my children. But again, I felt like it was used as a way to garner sympathy. So, of course, in the comment section, somebody said, yes, this recording is so disturbing, but why are you sharing this with us? We don't have the power to help you. I hope you've already given this to the authorities back in August, since that's the date that's shown. And why are you sharing this on social media if you've given this to the proper authorities? So this person is pretty much shading him in this conversation, right? Like, okay, what can we do about this? Did you give this to the authorities? And this is all the way back in August. So basically saying the same thing I said. Another person says, Bishop, in all seriousness, go to the police, right? That's what another person says. Real talk. This is not funny. A line was crossed and you need to protect yourself and your family. And somebody else says, it's definitely not cool the way they threaten or do him. So, and I agree with that, right? Somebody else said he probably sent those messages to himself. Shit. But the point is, I'm like, dude, you couldn't have been that shaken up, that afraid, that, that concerned. This is a message from August, y'all. This is doggone March. So I'm thinking to myself, interesting. So to me, this was used to soften the blow. This is used as a way to garner sympathy, just like he takes and he uses that baby and then he uses the other little girl to get people to be nice to him. So this is all used in an effort to kind of soften the blow. So, but right after that, he does his church service, of course, in a church that he's having all these challenges with. Now, let me say something about the church. In the reading, I talked about the fact that the people that he threw out of, I think it's 4904 Foster Avenue. I talked about the fact that these people, 5904 Foster Avenue, I talked about these people being able to have some victory with it. But just know, at some point, these people are going to have to come out the church if they're not actually supposed to be there, right? So let's just be clear about that. Because there is something about the fact that they are there. They don't have a contract to be there. That this was actually in an auction. So at some point, these people will have to come out this church, or at least do something to have control of this church. Technically, he did what he was supposed to do in order to take this church over. I think he did the wrong thing in how he was kicking them out. The judges, they looked down on that. I mean, I remember a family member of mine was sharing a home. Mother had died. Both of them had 50% ownership of the home, but somebody had the right of habitation. and the person with the right habitation had changed the locks, and that was looked down upon in the court. So you can't just change the locks on people. So I think once they get over that hump with giving these people proper notice, then I feel like they'll win in that way. But he does have the right, based on what he's, his contract with this guy, to be there. I just think is the way he put them out is the problem, right? So I just wanted to clarify that. Now he turns around, and I guess he felt the Angela Yee interview was a success. In his opinion, I thought it was. I just like I said in the video, you can go back and watch it. I just felt he was dancing around the questions. I don't feel like he really shared it. He didn't give us anything new. He basically was deflecting the whole time. I felt like he was dishonest in some of the things he was saying. He focused on moot points. He focused on things that were moot. For example, the lady, wasn't a member of his church. But we're focused. We're more focused on the money. Where's the money, right? He tried to say the son got the money when we all saw the check that was written to him, made out to him specifically. So he is now on his Instagram saying that he's taking all credible interviews. Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, and the mayor of New York was set up by a con man. Inbox me with a fire sign. Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead. So he's taking all credible, spelled credible incorrectly, even though he has a doctorate. But he's taking all credible interviews. So let's jump in the comment section again. Bishop, I rock with you, but you got to stay out of mess and confusion. And they put, I hope your credibility gets you past this mess. Somebody said, you be on the internet more than church. Another person said, leave the mayor out of it. I'm mad because after seeing the two of them in a Tang outfit, I figured they might be close. They keep insinuating they had something underneath the surface. I'm not going to touch that one yet. They said, you just want attention. Another person said, less than $10. What did you have? $9.81 in the checking? That shit was funny. Another person said, you could mean, they were correcting him on the word credible. Another person said, Mr. Whitehead, you call yourself a man of God when you were going to when are you going to take accountability for the things that you have done? Another person said, what goes around comes around. Someone else said, fix it, God. All right. So basically, he's now taking all credible interviews. So I did pull a few messages on that. And I do feel like he's going to have a couple of interviews that are going to go well. And there's going to be one that's going to go sideways, right? He's going to try to take interviews with people he can easily control and manipulate. He's going to go into an interview situation. I'm not going to tell you which one, whether it's going to be the first, the second, or the third. But he's going to go into an interview situation where it's going to get a little dicey for him, right? And also, too, the messages that I did pull is that it's going to, these interviews, his connection to these people, trying to do these interviews, they're going to be more harmful than good, because what happens is that some of the stuff he's saying, they're documenting it, right? They're screen recording it, and it will be used later. Also, too, I'm concerned that he keeps going after this man, Brandon Belmonte, right? That could be considered, witness tampering or intimidation of a witness. And so you never know what could come from that. So right after that, he puts in his story and on his Instagram again, the New Yorker. And this is a post that was dated on, I believe, 16 hours ago. Yep. So he says the New Yorker calls Brandon Belmonte a businessman. Google him. He's a man that is trying to set up the Bishop Lamar Whitehead and the mayor of NYC. Now, he's pulling the mayor into it, even though, the mayor has not been identified yet as anybody who has done any wrongdoing yet. And remember in the reading I said he wasn't going to try to do it towards the, after I flipped a few more cards, I said, it looks like he's going to try to do some stuff. So he posted about maybe 4 or 5, no, maybe 6 articles about Brandon Belmonte. One has to do with being a scammer and a thief, a complaint board. I read that. That was relatively recent. Basically, it's almost like he put somebody up to complain about that. Another one is about a liquor store permit. Another one is about a teen that faced assault charges. And this is something that looks like something that Brandon Belmonte must have been involved with years and years ago. There's something else that he's putting about a wine and liquor store again, and another wine and liquor store situation, and then the last one has to do with delinquent taxes. But this is what I'm not understanding, or I do understand it. Even if the feds focused on Brandon Belmonte's wrongdoing, they're still going to get you. That's what, like, Bishop Lamor Whitehead reminds me of a child who wants to say he's doing fraud too. He's also a con man. Get him too. Getting Brandon Belmonte is not going to reduce or diminish the charges that are being brought against Bishop Whitehead. So I can understand exposing him, but it's not going to help your case. If anything, it's going to hurt your case, because now you're seen as someone who's attacking a state witness, right? A state witness, or the FBI's witness, even though they claim he's not, that's my chair, even though they claim he's not going to take the stand, you're seen as someone who's attacking someone. Now, he did tag the Shade Room, he tagged Baller Alert, he even tagged his own lawyers, Don Florio, some guy named Michael, I think it's somebody named Ponder. He did tag somebody named Crump. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, he went back and he took Don Florio off, and he took Michael Ponder off. He left Attorney Crump up. Because yesterday when I I did a screenshot of this. He had Don Florio up as a person. He added her, and he also added Michael Ponder. Those are his two attorneys, but he went back and he took them off. So, again, like I said, somebody got in the comment section and said, man, you just don't give up. Somebody says, I'm confused. What does this prove? All this is from the past. Are you saying once a criminal, always a criminal? Because once again, get off social media, let your lawyers do all the talking, and stop trying to get validation from the world. So I had done a recording on this last night, and I talked about how his lawyers probably were like confused about this. I should post that, because he removed their names. And so I may attach that portion to it. If I could find it, I'll play it. But he removed their names from it. And so if I find that piece where I talked about his lawyers, I will add it, because I did say his lawyers were going to be warning him with caution. And looks like he went back and took their names off of it. Anyway, bottom line is that him, just because he's mentioning this man and he expects some justice with this man, he expects this man to get in trouble because he's in trouble, this is not gonna benefit him at all. You can't do that. I'm in trouble, so he should be in trouble too, like a little kid. It doesn't work that way. So at the end of the day, bottom line is Bishop Lamor Whitehead is digging himself further into a hole. And like they say, when you dig a hole for one, you might want to dig it for two. All right? Because now you're digging a hole for yourself. And technically, this constant, I looked up the term, I looked up witness tampering, and I looked up witness intimidation. And some of the stuff he's doing, it could be considered, trying to intimidate a witness. So he needs to also be very, very careful. This is your girl Chris coming through with another podcast on Bishop Lamor Whitehead. I like to just call him Lamor Whitehead from now on, because I do not believe that he deserves the right to be called a bishop. He is a long-term scam artist. This is facts. This is written. This is so. This is not just so. Nobody is, putting defamation on him. If you go back through his history, history, it is filled with fraudulent behavior. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Again, I will be back on the main channel with the reading, I believe on Escape. People are asking about that. So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Take care. Stay blessed, encouraged, and empowered. And thank you again for checking out the podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and blessings.